Biden a racist invitation for the girls basketball team from the University of Iowa to join in with Louisiana State University's girls basketball championship team on their visit to the White House. Now, traditionally, only the winners come to the White House. NBA champions, NFL champions, baseball champions, college basketball, college football, and, of course, college women's basketball. So Louisiana State beat Iowa. And Jill Biden said that the Iowa girls played so well that they should be invited to the White House as well, which was a clear example of racism, bias, white girl privilege, that you would invite the losers to the White House along with the winners and deny them their privilege of their own private time with the first family. So obviously that, there was a reaction from the black community across the country that was unfair and racist. So Jill Biden walked back her invitation from Iowa. But the leading player for LSU, Angel Reese, who earned Most Outstanding Player of the Women's Final Four, she said that she doesn't want to go to the White House now and that she'd rather visit the Obamas.
My opinion is that Joe Biden and a lot of other people, they succumb to white woman tears. When they feel the need to protect the white woman from tears. You catch a white woman crying, somebody's going to try to come to her rescue. And I think that's what Jill Biden did, because she said, how dare she do that to this white woman? And so, we're going to have to invite them to the White House, too. And like you say, I ain't never heard nobody invite the losers to come. Now, is that going to be precedent? Is they going to invite all losing teams to come to the White House, or just this time?
Probably just this time, but it didn't go over well. So she walked it back. But I thought that was very interesting because that was blatantly racist. And then, of course, white America, because they don't know how to be fair, they started attacking and criticizing Angel Reese, for her on-court gestures towards Caitlin Clark, the superstar for Iowa. But when Caitlin Clark did that to Angel Reese and to other players throughout the tournament, it was celebrated and heralded. But when she loses, all of a sudden, Angel Reese becomes
Dr. Johnson, Biden's going to set his wife straight or tell her, stay out of...
Yes, because here's the issue. As you know, you have so many black men behind bars who are not necessarily able to vote. So the black woman's vote is paramount for the Democratic Party. And Jill Biden's mistake could cost them several 100,000 votes. So I expect the president to do something to try to pull black women back into the favor of the Democratic Party.
So as far as you understand, have the other team declined to go to the White House, or are they still going? Because I saw with LSU...
Jill Biden, she walked it back.
Okay.
She withdrew that invitation. She might go visit them at their campus, something like that.
Yeah.
But she walked it back. She can't do that because that would set a precedent whereby anyone who loses can make the argument that they have a right to go as well. And if that's the case, what's the use of having to visit at all if it's supposed to be something for the champions?
That's right. Championship honors, not secondary honors. Wow. So now what's this other thing that's going on in Tennessee? What's your take on that?
Well, with the two brothers who were expelled by the Tennessee state legislators, that was nothing but racism. I mean, we haven't even really heard of any prominent expulsions or any expulsions at all, except the last time I can recall one was Adam Clayton Powell, when he was excused from the New York state legislature for his revolutionary activity. And before him, we probably got to go back to the days of Reconstruction, where after the election of so many black people to state legislatures across the country, that many white folks just simply expelled all of them from office. But in the modern era, definitely not in this century. We haven't even heard of anything this ridiculous. But I think it speaks to the climate of hate against black people in this country. I think it speaks to the climate of racism and the climate of bigotry against black people in this country. We're seeing things being done, particularly to black people, that are not being done almost anywhere else. I just read of a story earlier today where a black couple had their baby taken from them by Child and Family Services because they decided to to have a home birth. I mean, we look at the elimination of the history of slavery in America from the textbooks, the elimination of the teaching of racism, American racism, from the textbooks. So I really just think black people need to step back, take a look that we are going back to the future. Mm-hmm. Even if we go to Jackson, Mississippi, where I was last week for the Free to Land, Free to Water crisis, how the Mississippi State Legislature created a capital district zone in Jackson without the consent of the voters, without the authority of the mayor, and simply usurped Mayor Antar Lumumba of his democratically elected power to govern over Jackson. And they basically created an apartheid town, basically for white people, that includes all of the majority of the white business district in Jackson, Mississippi, who are now under their own police force, unelected, own fire department, unelected, own police chief, unelected, not chosen by the mayor, not chosen by the voters. They have their own judiciary, not chosen by the voters. I mean, how can you go into a city, undermine the democratically elected government, and create your own apartheid-style district? So we're seeing a whole bunch of blatant misrepresentations of the law when it comes to black people, and we're going to need to take a stand soon before it gets worse.
This is about Obama. But I just wanted to know, nothing negative, but, okay, so you stated that you wish that Obama's presidency would have never happened because you believe it did set Black America backwards. But at the same time, your rise with your global popularity of Black consciousness, it took off in 2010 during the time Obama was president. So I just wanted to know, in your opinion, do you believe that if Obama wasn't president at the time, that the relevancy of this Black consciousness community would have ever been widely acknowledged as it is now?
Yes, I don't think Obama had much to do with that. In fact, I would say Obama, his election actually triggered a regression in Black consciousness because so many Black people saw the symbolism of his campaign, the birth of a new America where Black people would be included and treated as equals. So a lot of nationalists began to second-guess their political position. If you remember, going back to the 8 years of the Obama administration, there were people who were questioning whether we still needed a Black consciousness movement. Do we still need the NAACP, the Urban League? Do we still need independent Black organizations? They were even questioning, do we still need historically Black colleges and universities?
Do we still need Black History Month?
I would say the Obama illusion actually detracted away from Black consciousness for a while. And I would say maybe President Trump's ascendancy to the White House may have brought back some consciousness. But while Obama was in office, most Black people thought they were A-OK. A-OK. And now they wake up and see that Obama was nothing more than a distraction for Negroes so the American power structure could rearm, reorganize, and reassert its racism against Black people more effectively than it ever has. Barack Obama made it possible for Black people to be completely ignored by U.S. presidents. Now, don't get me wrong. Historically, none of the presidents took care of business for Black people. But they might have tried to act like it. They might have tried to throw you some crumbs. Bill Clinton, Jimmy Carter, Lyndon Baines Johnson, they tried. But after Barack Obama got away with doing nothing for 8 years and not even so much as a question for Black America, Donald Trump would not have to be accountable to you. Why do you think Joe Biden is so unapologetic in ignoring Black people after he begged for your vote? Because everybody's basically going to look at Black America and say, if we have to do anything for Black people except be Black, I don't have to do anything for Black people either except be white.
I see where they are, I think it's in Detroit or is it Michigan, somewhere they're trying to say they want to give blacks reparations, and I'm saying, and in some other places too, in California, they're hitting at it and stuff, and I'm saying they're talking about it in these pockets. Why don't we have a national reparations council to say how we should receive and distribute and apply reparations?
Well, the thing is, Baba David, internal reparations has to precede external reparations.
Mm-hmm.
If black people do not repair the way we think,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what we get, it will count for naught, because it will not be used by black minds that are interested in the reconstruction of the black society. Most Negroes want reparations so they can use it to more fully participate in the white man's reality. They're not thinking about creating a black man's reality. Reparations is supposed to be used to create a black man's reality, not to help further our integrationist fantasies. We're supposed to be creating a separate reality for ourselves. That's what reparations should be getting used for. But I would tell you this: we can't use reparations as a scapegoat either. And what I mean by that, very little conversation is being had around what black people are doing with their money right now. See, that gets ignored, and we go straight into the reparations, and nobody holds the black community accountable for wasting $2 trillion every year. When are black women going to have a conference amongst themselves and talk about how they're going to redirect $30 billion in hair and beauty? When are black men going to have a conference amongst ourselves and talk about how we're going to redirect that $2 billion in Air Jordan or that $12 billion in men's cologne? You understand? Or the several billion we spend on luxury SUVs. If we do not develop discipline with the money we have now, if we don't become more progressive with the spending of the money we already have, what you get from reparations will be useless. And I don't see enough conversation around the dysfunctional economic habits of black people. Everybody cuts right to the reparations, and nobody wants to take accountability for how we waste $2 trillion annually in this country.
Yeah, so Dr. Johnson, I wanted to ask you about that. They say they're trying to ban TikTok. What do you think about that?
Well, the U.S. government, National Security Agency, they're claiming that China is spying with the TikTok. You know, whether that's just propaganda or true, I don't really know. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to be banned. You know, we got too many black children who can't read on grade level, so I don't understand how they got so much time to be on social media in the first place. I mean, right now in America, only half of the black boys in the fourth grade can read on grade level, and only half of the black boys in the 8th grade can count on grade level. So if you only got half of the black boys being academically proficient in both subjects, how we got so much time for social media?